We are part of the Fired Up Sports Network of shows. Please check out other Fired Up Sports Network podcasts like the P-Lot Pod, Water Cooler Talk, Bell Smashers, Philly Sports Love and Pain, Drunk on Broad, Beer Battered Sports, and the Fired Up Sports Show, which are available on all major podcasting hosting sites and social media. Also, check out Mark Ramos' Roundup on firedupsports.com, which breaks down the happenings going on with all your favorite local teams.
The Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions.
E-A-G-L-E-S, Swinging a miss, struck him out. The Philadelphia Phillies are 2008 World Champions of Baseball.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Flyers are going to win the Stanley Cup. The Flyers win the Stanley Cup for the lead. Yes! Iverson, wow, what a fake off Daniels as he broke his ankles and got all the way to the cup.
What up? What's going on, Philadelphia?
Hey, Rich, at least we didn't lose.
Yeah.
You can't lose if you don't play.
I mean, that was a positive thing. Positive thing is we came out last week, no injuries.
Everybody's healthy.
And yeah, everything's great. Everything's great. You know, everything's great. Everything's fine. The world's not burning down behind us. Like, everything's great. I'm not worried, Don, being a 9-point favorite or anything. I'm not going to freak out and do what you think I'm going to do.
I mean, listen, if there's a team that's playing worse than the Eagles right now, it's the Browns.
That is true.
So, I mean, there's that.
No
That's
lies detected.
so the fact that you've got an opportunity to essentially start the season over 2-2, right? You got a hard reset. You're going to have, you got games that on paper in the next 4 weeks look really, really winnable.
Mhm.
So you're looking at an opportunity to be able to take care of, do some they did some self-scouting apparently, you know. But listen, hopefully you get the opportunity to be able to come out of the bye, you know, with a healthy team. Right?
Yeah.
You're coming out. You're going to have AJ and Devontae back. You're going to have Lane Johnson back. You don't have anybody on the injured list that's of note. You're
Not one.
You
They're
move on from Devin White, and
Stupid.
that to me, I don't
think Nakobe Dean is better than him, and we will never know.
we'll never know because he never actually got a chance.
Just because he wouldn't play special teams. How many times did I say that? Dude didn't want to play special teams. That's why he's not playing. It's not because he's hurt. He doesn't want to play special teams. He doesn't need to play special teams. How about that? You didn't sign him to be a special teamer.
Right. Yeah.
I don't fucking know, Don. I just think it's a bonehead thing. Let me ask you a question, Don.
What do you got?
They lose this week against the Browns. Do you fire Sirianni immediately?
Oh God, Jesus Christ!
Do you get the Salah effect? Try to come in on Monday and your fucking key don't work?
Listen, at this point, nothing would surprise me at this point. Nothing at all. I would not be surprised at all if anything happens. I wouldn't be surprised. This Browns team has looked wildly anemic. They've looked like they've been allergic to the end zone. They've only been in the red zone. They haven't been in the red zone more than 10 times in all of their games.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, like I said at the top, if there is an opportunity to play a team that's playing worse than you, you better win. And this Browns team is playing wildly worse than them. They just look bad. Jerry Jeudy, Mark, like nobody's catching the ball.
No,
you know,
they have no offensive game plan. Deshaun Watson, more indecisive than Jalen Hurts.
I mean, seriously.
Yeah, it's not. That's not. I mean, he's just fucking terrible. Like that man, he's a piece of shit. So I don't want to give him any credit. He's a piece
No,
of
not
shit.
at all.
Everything is great. So hopefully the rapist gets his ass whooped this week. But yeah, I mean, a quarterback without confidence is never going to be good. Any player without confidence is never going to be good. And the Browns are just a dirtball trash organization. So I don't expect much from them ever. Free my man Nick Chubb. I love Nick Chubb.
Yeah.
He's a beast and seems like a good dude. Yeah, when he comes back, maybe they'll find their identity, but their offensive line is putrid and their defense really hasn't done shit. So, but I mean, it's hard to say because you can kind of flip the script and say, well, our offensive line hasn't looked good and our defense has been putrid. I mean, we don't have Myles Garrett anchoring it, but
No.
Our
And
corner.
that dude will wreck a game by himself.
I mean, it's a good thing that Cooper DeJean's getting the start in the slot this week, so that's going to be interesting to see.
It's true.
Yeah, so like it's going to be cool like to see. It's like, all right, Coop's going to start in the slot, and we'll see what he's got because Avonte Maddox turnstile,
Right.
smoke rib slay.
Okay, so we gotta go back to that. Yeah, that analogy last week was like wildly spot on.
Thanks, man. That just came to me. I'm like, that
stream of consciousness, Rich, was like on another level.
Yeah, it's like the good Lord came down and said you must talk about smoked ribs and compare them to Darius Slay. So I did. He's so ass. I really hope he gets traded. They were saying something about like trade rumors with him being a piece that they want to move on from. I mean, I'll take a 6 for him. Like, fuck it, why not? Right?
I'll take whatever at this point.
Yeah, at this point, you can give me like a 2029 fifth round pick, and I'd be like, all right, that sounds gracious. A team to do that.
You could give me a pick at the end of the 2030s, and I'd be cool with that.
I would be honestly a very happy person, and I wouldn't be mad about it. So it's pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, I really just want to see a get right game from everyone, and I think this is the team that you can get it from.
Totally.
You can pass them, you can run on them, and their offense has really been non-existent through the first 4 games of the season, if anybody's been watching them.
Right.
This is I want to see what identity, and without the excuses of not having AJ Brown, not having Devontae Smith.
Yep.
I want to see the motion again. I want to see the fluidity of this offense and watching it all come together. I want to see Saquon Barkley touch the fucking ball on the first drive, first play of the game, hand it off to him. Will they? I know they won't. It's going to be a fucking RPO slant to AJ Brown. You can quote me on that. That's exactly what it's going to be. But
yeah.
I want to see him get involved. Like, and it's nice. I'm happy AJ's back. I'm happy Slim's back. I'm not trying to be all pessimistic. It's just I need to see more. I mean, we're 2-2 right now, and it's not a good 2-2. It's 2-2.
It's. I mean, it is very reminiscent of last year.
Yeah.
You're winning games, but you're like not, because they don't feel like wins. They feel like they just feel ugly. You know what they do, Rich? They feel those wins feel like the one game that the Phillies win in this series, where like you felt like they were going to find a way to lose. And these games, even these games that they've won this year, they've won, but they felt like losses. They don't feel like super great wins.
It all started in the Super Bowl 24 months ago when Jalen Hurts fumbled the ball. That's where you've seen the downfall kind of this team.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so crazy because he just fumbled, right? He just dropped the ball. If he held on to that ball, we would have been Super Bowl champs. 1,000%. We would have been up by 21 at the end of that. It would have been.
That 14-point turn at that point in the game, just it sucked all the momentum that you had at that point, and it literally has been downhill since then.
There hasn't even been like glimmers of hope, because we were sitting here last year at 10-0, like this team's not good.
I remember we could not figure out how they were winning games
because they were trying to lose every single game that they were in.
Mm-hmm.
But then it would just like something would happen and it'd be like, boom. It was like everything was aligning and then it just didn't. And then those ways to lose games came, roaring their ugly head around. And we're like, all right, well, we are going to lose this game.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to lose what? 9 of our last 11, is it? 10 of our last 12, whatever the stat is now. And it's just hard to fathom. Like, I can't wrap my head around it. So much talent on both sides of the ball. Like, what is going wrong?
Yeah, I mean, you can point that finger in one direction, right? If the talent is there, and we know that those guys, that there are plenty of guys that are individually talented, then the direction from above is not putting those players in the positions to be productive. Like, you look at what Brian Flores is working with in Minnesota. Like, he's not working with like the amount of talent that this team has.
Yeah.
But he is putting all of those guys in absolutely incredible positions. Like, you look at Van Ginkel, right? Van Ginkel is just an animal, right? He's not the best guy on that defense, but he sure plays like a fucking animal, like his hair's on fire.
Yeah.
And he's always in the right position.
Yeah.
And that's what I don't see from this team. You see guys that are out of position. You see guys that are like, we don't have to go back over the missed tackle stats from the Tampa game because that was just atrocious.
Alex became a fucking competent linebacker after he left here. He was the defensive captain for the Denver Broncos.
Yep.
The dude tore his Achilles and still made the play.
Yep.
Did you see that? Like, the moment he tore his Achilles and he still made the fucking tackle?
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand. TJ Edwards, tackling fucking machine now in Chicago. And he was a tackling machine for us.
Yeah.
And we didn't even make him an offer to stay. It's just, how are these linebackers that you're getting rid of good in other systems? Oh, because the coaches play them to their strengths.
Right.
Like, that's what I like about Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick would bring guys in and be like, well, what do you do best? And they'd be like, well, I'm a slot receiver. Well, that's where you're going to be. What do you do best? Well, I'm an edge rusher. Okay, that's what you're going to do. What do you do best? Well, I anchor down the middle and I tackle. That's what you're going to do. And that's how he arranged his team. He never Hassan Reddick dropping back in coverage last year.
Like, his offense was always an amoeba, right? It was always, what do I have and how can I utilize those guys, right? If they had, Gronk and Aaron Hernandez, right now we're running 2 tight end sets. And I don't give a shit. And you're running Wes Welker in the slot. Like, if I have Randy Moss, guess what? We're throwing a ball up to Randy Moss. Like, you figure out what you have. Like, and if you have one of the best running backs in the league and what you could argue is a top 5 offensive line, like, their team identity on offense is staring them in the face.
And they're not using it.
And they don't see it. Like, this team should be a run first, pass second offense. Run the ball, play action, off the run.
Yeah.
You could wildly exploit teams on so many levels.
I'm with you, bro. And that's the shittiest part is, why do we see this, but Nick the Flower Boy doesn't see it? Like,
Yeah, and Rich, the stat that keeps jumping out at me, right, in all of this is like the starts to the game and how things work, and right is the fact that like the fact that they have not scored a first quarter touchdown, right? Rich, do you know the last time that they scored a first quarter touchdown?
Week 14 of last year.
New Year's Eve of 2023 against the Cardinals. That game against the Cardinals was the last time they scored.
That was what, like week 10?
It was I'd have to go back and look at the calendar. But
That is
that game against it was New Year's Eve of 23.
all right. So
So
that's like week 12.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you know
No,
the player?
no, that's like that's like week 6, like 15 or 16.
15, 16.
Jesus Christ, that's terrible.
Do you know the player? It's a wide receiver.
Quez Watkins.
None other than Eagles legend Julio Jones. Julio Jones is the last guy to score a first quarter touchdown for this team.
That's fucking.
That should tell you something.
Yeah, it's that they don't run the ball enough, or they get down there and Jalen Hurts turns the ball over in the red zone. Oh man, Don, that's depressing. Now I'm looking back and I'm like, holy fuck, you're right.
Like that was one of the more alarming things that I saw. That like ooh, like that's something we gotta like if they're gonna do anything, that's something that they're gonna have to fix. But like when you kind of peek ahead to their schedule, they're again on paper they are gonna have opportunities with very, very, very winnable games.
Yeah.
You're gonna have the Browns at home this week.
Yeah.
After the Browns this week, you're gonna go play the Giants at the Giants. If Saquon Barkley does not run the ball 37,000 fucking times,
we're gonna hear it from every single New York radio station.
All right, you ready for this, Rich? I had a buddy. I got a buddy of mine at work. He's from Queens. So we've been talking all week. And this one just like crushed me and I had nothing to come back with. There's a reason why they spell Philly with 2 L's.
Why?
Well, because New York gave us both. With the Knicks and the Mets. And I was like, really? Thanks.
Speak of the fucking Phillies. That was atrocious.
Yeah, that's a whole nother barf bag.
Forget about it and move on.
Yeah.
Dude, hey, if they don't whoop the fuck out of Deshaun Watson this week, I'm going to be so disappointed.
Yeah.
There should not.
And then you're gonna play at Cincinnati, and then you're gonna play the Jaguars at home.
You should win 4 in a row.
So you should win 4 in a row, and you'd be 6-2, and you'd have a little bit of momentum going into 2 consecutive division matchups against the Cowboys and Commanders. And the Commanders, we've talked about Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels looks like the truth. Like he's going to be a problem for the next decade. And the Cowboys are going to cowboy. They look uninterested, confused, and I can't figure out what exactly happened on their offseason. Their offseason plan at running back was incredibly dumb.
Was remotely decent, they would have won.
Oh, absolutely.
But Pittsburgh can't run the ball. George Pickens, they have him taking like plays off. They're controlling George Pickens' reps, which is asinine to me. But I think it's because George Pickens is a fucking nightmare to deal with. I think like my man was psychotic in college. I guarantee he's psychotic in the pros. And not even being a diva, like the dude's just crazy. like I just found that whole situation. I'm like, wow. But like, this is the problems that he had in college, so it's not surprising. All the talent in the world, but is a mental midget. So it's that's going to be rough sledding for Pittsburgh. Even with Justin Fields playing well, like I was surprised. I didn't get a chance to watch that game because we're on the East Coast, and the time that shit comes on, it literally went over into midnight. Like Dak Prescott, I think, was the first quarterback to throw like a touchdown in the same game on different days.
On 2 different days. Well, with all the weather's been a little bonkers.
Absolutely nutty. But yeah, the Cowboys are going to cowboy like that. That's they don't fear me. Well, no,
I think at the end of the day,
I'm not afraid of them. They do fear me though, but I'm not afraid of them.
No, and the thing you got with the Commanders is that their defense is not great.
No, not
so. You might get into a shootout with them, and you might end up having to win a game 35-31, something like that. But they're going to put up points, and Jaden Daniels is really, really impressive.
Dude, they are the run heaviest team in football. Like, and especially in the red zone, all they do is run the ball. They're like rushing touchdowns to passing. Like their passing touchdown is like 26% of their touchdowns are passing. They're just running the ball with Brian Robinson, fucking Jeremy McNichols. Like seriously, like McNichols. The fuck is that? Like it's crazy. And Jaden looks great. Like he looks awesome. So I'm like terrifying. Like the kid coming. What's up, Chris? I love the kid coming out of college, but I'm like, this is terrifying if he lands in the NFC East. And it's crazy. Like then he moves to the Giants, Daniel Jones, Malik Neighbors. Malik Neighbors out this week, but Malik Neighbors was at a Travis Scott concert this week.
Yeah, I saw that.
Not good for concussions, bud.
He's in concussion protocol, and he's at the Travis Scott concert. Can't imagine the light simulations are really good for being in concussion recovery.
The jumping around, the loud noises. Oh my god, what a moron.
Yeah.
Like it's absolutely
well that Rich, that to me is a product of not having veteran presence on that team. They don't have like an adult in the room that is going, stay home. Like,
well, safety is going to be kicked out of football. Oh no, I'm sorry. That he was on their team and then was traded to New England. He's going to get kicked out of football to grill peppers. I forgot. I'm like, he was there. Like, that's a fucking nutty situation. The NFL has been so full of injuries and holdouts, and it's been such a fucking weird year. Our boy got dropped from his agency.
I was about to say, Hassan Reddick gets dropped from his agency. That's not good. He's hemorrhaging money back to the NFL and never going to make that money back.
No, I don't think if he doesn't sign back with the Jets, I don't think he ever plays again.
I mean, he's going to, if he doesn't play, I think before week 8, maybe is like that he loses that vested year towards his pension. Like, what are you doing?
It's a lot of, man. It's so much dumb shit.
It really, Rich, it really does make you kind of understand why the Eagles so easily were like, bye.
Yeah, because that's unrealistic. Like, it's just absolutely crazy. The NFL has been nutty. Just can't.
I couldn't agree. I couldn't agree with you more. It's been kind of wild. If the Eagles' edge does not get a pass rush this week,
fire them all.
Yeah, you need to move on, and heads are going to have to roll because this Browns offensive line is a sieve, and will let you get to the quarterback with no qualms at all.
No.
So if Bryce Huff and Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis and those guys and Josh Sweat, if those guys are not making an impact early and often, then you're going to be in a situation where you're going to need to address more than you think.
You're gonna have to find edge rushers and defensive tackles off the scrap heap. So it's going to be kind of crazy
Mhm.
to fucking dog. It's going to be crazy just to see like who they'll try to bring in because seriously, 5+ sacks is the reality of what they should get this week. Like, I'm not saying, oh, I will not be happy with quarterback pressures. I will not be happy with, oh, the Eagles defense ends with 2 sacks. Like, no. Like, that's unacceptable. And Vic Fangio should have it out there too. We don't get 5+ sacks this week. I'm locking the locker room.
Bye. Right.
Like, this offensive line is porous. They're not happy with their quarterback play. They're not happy with their quarterback. Like, they are so disinterested in protecting him. They should just be like, ole, and let the bull rush go through. It'll be very alarming if they don't feast on Sunday. And Don, I will be texting you being like, everybody needs to go. Everyone needs to fucking go. Like,
Back
this is
the truck up. Yeah, seriously.
I'm not even kidding. 42-16. If they don't put up 42, I don't even want to see 16, but they're going to be garbage time. If they don't put up a 40 spot, something is seriously wrong with this team.
Yeah, I think, Rich, and in my mind, I'm going like, you need to put a stamp on this and really turn the page. Like, you essentially had your preseason, you had your 4 games, you had your bye. Right now is where you figure out a way to get everything rolling, and you got a team coming in that you can go out and just crush from the start. So I'm looking at this and I'm going like to me, this is very, very reminiscent of like that Broncos game where they put up the 50 burger going to the Super Bowl. Like that, like you need to like really put a stamp on this. And you have the opportunity with the player matchups that you have. Even though they haven't won a game by double digits since they played the Dolphins last year, you really have to put a stamp on this one and really turn it upside down in a way that you can get right and really start to get some momentum. But I think you have to exert your presence with authority. And really, if you are serious about putting a stamp on the season and really kind of turning the page and moving on and really just trying to get right, Saquon Barkley's got to touch the ball 30+ times. A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith got to touch the ball. They got to have 4, 5, 6 catches apiece. That you have to just come out and just roll and just be wildly efficient.
Yeah, I mean, this is the game where you step on their necks and the headlines go, the Eagles are back.
Yep.
And you put all the doubt to shame and you carry that momentum, you carry the city with you, and you go out there and you just lay the wood for the rest of the season. Like, this is the game that they need.
Yeah.
Like,
coming out of
they need that out of their bye. Smack down on the candy asses and just be like, you know what? We're fucking back. We will step on next because we have a terrible habit of playing down to competition. And I don't need to see 7-7 at halftime.
No, not at all. And listen, this is the first half of the episode. The second half of the episode, Joe and I will be on tomorrow morning.
Yes, sir.
But the final, to roll right into final thoughts. This is the win. This is the type of game that I think what we're describing is what everybody in this city needs right now, considering what we've just kind of experienced over. You can't even call it a playoff run because it only lasted 5 days and it didn't look like the Phillies showed up. So like this get right game is one that I think we all as a city really need. I'm also really excited, Rich, because I'm staying up late. We got some late night West Coast hockey. We got hockey action with the Flyers starting in Vancouver. and I got Kip staying up late with me. We're gonna get the popcorn ready. We're gonna dial it in and see what happens with the Flyers. But I think on Sunday afternoon, I need this to be get right time.
I agree. My final thoughts is, same here. We need to be uplifted. We need something good. The heartbreak that we've gone through as Philadelphia sports fans the past 2 years has been atrocious between the Sixers and the Phillies and the Eagles. Super Bowl, blew it. And NLCS, blew it. The game, whatever the game 6 and game 7 against the Celtics, blew it. First round exit last year, blew it. Eagles, turn it the fuck around. We need something to root for. That's my final thoughts. I'm Rich. That's Don. Part 2 comes to you tomorrow.
Later, skaters.
Deuces.
Later.
The Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions.